Welcome to Pat's Cast, the unofficial Regina Pats podcast. We are a proud member of the Saskatchewan Podcast Network. I'm Chris.
I am Matt Rowe, not the regular Matt.
That's right. This is our episode for March 25th, 2020. Yeah, so Chris here, and I'm running the show today. Regular Matt is unavailable this week. He's kind of busy with this with his job right now, so I brought on Matt Rowe, and we're going to talk kind of the news of the day today. Well, actually, it started yesterday with exceptional player status being granted to Connor Bedard.
Yeah,
That's quite the story for the WHL. First one here.
yeah, and I would say well deserved, just from seeing what people have to say about him and seeing video of him and such. Um, seems seen a couple interviews now with him too, and he seems like he's pretty mature for his age and whatnot. So, although I guess we haven't seen. Well, I don't know if we're going to see anything about the other two, Height and Jaeger, but so far he's the only one that's gotten it, which is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, and yeah, like I said, there's a couple of interviews with him out there already. I retweeted them out, and yeah, he had to write an essay. He said, and went through some interviews, and Hockey Canada talked to his teachers and stuff. So it seems like quite the process that the players who do apply for this go through.
Yeah, I would think it's pretty extensive. I don't think they're just gonna hand it out, right? As we saw, like with what happened with Savoy last year. So um, he must have checked all the boxes, I guess, for Hockey Canada.
Yeah, and that's is good news for the Pats.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, as we saw the well, I'm not sure if everyone's seen it yet, but we read the articles from the Leader Post and saw the interview with John Paddock, and pretty much a slam dunk. He's going to be coming here, so we essentially drafted him without drafting him.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's the consensus number one, and they always got him in the jersey beforehand. Like in the NHL or whatever other drafts there are, and it's so yeah, obviously that he's committed to the WHL, or else he maybe wouldn't have got that exceptional player status. Like again, like Savoy last year, he was hinting at NCAA, so that
hmm
could have been another reason.
Yeah, well, and I don't know if you read the Leader Post article, but sounds like Paddock's had conversations with his family already, and they're pretty committed to going wherever. So I don't think there'll be an issue with getting him here, which is a good thing. And in that video with Gino Retta that you said you retweeted there, it sounded like he knew a little bit about the organization himself and some of the history. So that's a kind of a big deal for the Pats, I would say.
Yeah, that's definite. That's good to see that he's already looked into the team and such like that. So just going back into the exceptional player status kind of history almost. I brought up a few names that maybe people or didn't know that played as 15-year-olds. So the rule wasn't even in effect when Rico Fata. He was one of the first ones as a 15-year-old to play. So he played for his hometown Sioux Greyhounds as a 15-year-old. The rule back then, I guess, was you had to play for your hometown team. And then, so he played 1 year with Sioux, and then he entered the OHL draft as a 16-year-old, like they drafted 16. Then London took him first overall, and then he played in London for a few years. And then the next player was Jason Spezza. So he moved to Brampton. Actually, the whole family moved so he could play for Brampton. They were expansion team that year in 1998. So then he played 1 year there, and then he was drafted the following year by Mississauga Ice Dogs first overall.
Is that the one that Scott tweeted out earlier, maybe?
Yeah, Spezza. He
Yeah,
was talking about
that's what I
Spezza.
thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then the rule came into effect for John Tavares in 2005. So he was the first one under the current kind of incarnation of this rule. So Tavares was the first one in 2005. Aaron Ekblad was the next in 2011. Then it was Connor McDavid in 12. And then Sean Day, he maybe's the outlier in this group.
Yeah,
You
he's
know,
kind of the exception to the rule almost, I guess. He never
yeah,
really panned out.
yeah, he didn't quite pan out as some of these other guys, but he was a defenseman, so his stats weren't gaudy. But he didn't get a chance with World Juniors or anything. He didn't play for
No,
Team Canada stuff like that. So go
he
ahead.
didn't even get drafted in NHL till was it like third round or he
Yeah,
wasn't a first round pick, that's for sure, from what
no, it
I've
was
looked at.
yeah, it was 81st overall. So
Yeah.
you look at Tavares, he was drafted first. Ekblad was
Mhm.
first. McDavid was first. So yeah, Sean Day, he hasn't even made it to the NHL. He's toiled his trade in the ECHL and AHL in the past 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, then there's Joe Veleno. He was the first one in the queue in 2015,
Hmm.
and then he was drafted in the first round, 30th overall by Detroit.
Still a first rounder, I guess.
Yeah, first rounder. Yeah, definitely. But he didn't have the stats in junior as some of those other guys, but his 18-year-old season, his last season in the queue, was quite good with Drummondville.
Mm.
But and then the latest one this past season was Shane Wright. Everybody's heard of him now, and the guy puts up 39 goals. Like that's pretty impressive.
Well, and if the season would have continued, he would have been close to the pace of, I think it was breaking, was it Tavares
Yeah,
record that he had for 15-year-old scoring? So there was a big debate on if he's the best so far of the exceptional status players. So we'll see how that goes next year, I guess.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, Tavares had 45 goals in 65 games. Wright had 39 and 58. So it would have been
Pretty
interesting to
close.
see. Yeah, exactly. So then I was talking to Kevin Shaw, the Pat's unofficial historian, and he gave me a few names of 15-year-olds that played for the Pats. So now some of these are like way back in the day, before there was kind of any of these rules. Like in 1917, the goalie was 15, Walter Broadfoot. Like he said there could have been more, but he doesn't know the birth dates of many of these players.
Yeah.
So the latest one was Rick Herbert in 1982-83. But so that's kind of a little bit of history of the exceptional status in the
But
CHL.
exceptional status, but not exceptional status, I guess.
Yeah,
It's interesting facts though, like seeing guys actually played at that age, uh, different eras. Like today, you have to be a special player. So I don't even know who any of these guys were. They don't sound familiar to me, but I guess that's one guy's 1917, but the guy in the 80s, I don't know. What did his career end up like? Did you look at any stats for him, or
you know what? I did not. Actually,
no?
that's a failure on my part there.
That's
Um,
all right.
it's kind of getting late here. Long
Yeah, oh
day.
for sure, yeah.
But
But
yeah,
a little interesting history, I guess, hey?
yeah, I know, and he's the guy to go to
Oh
for
yeah,
the
Kevin.
history.
Kevin is the guy for
Yeah.
sure.
So yeah, so winning the draft lottery today was pretty exciting for the Pats. I think with them having the best chance, and then with PG actually winning the actual lottery was interesting. They jump up to second, so they're going to get most likely one of those Saskatchewan kids, Heiter Jaeger, I think.
Well, if those guys want to play there, there's been talk about that too, but guess we'll see what happens there.
Yeah,
I don't honestly like Prince George has had high picks the last like two or three drafts, so they're building a little army out there, I would say, and I'm pretty sure they signed most of those guys, so it'd be definitely in Heiter, Jaegers, or whoever else best interest to go play out there. I think like they're going to be playing with some elite talent, I would think, or some good
yeah,
talent, anyways, because there's these younger guys that Prince George has drafted the last couple drafts are going to be coming up right away. So,
yeah, exactly. I think what did they have? They had the second and third pick last year, or however,
uh, wasn't it third and was it third and fourth?
or
Didn't
third and
Brandon get
fourth.
Brandon was it? Oh no, Winnipeg had first and second.
And second, okay.
Yeah, and then I think Prince George had third and
Third,
fourth, and
fourth.
Brandon had fifth and sixth or something like that.
Yeah,
I think that's how it went. I
yeah.
just remember it
Either
was a
way,
crazy few teams had a few picks in a row.
yeah, and I know Prince George signed both their guys as well as their second round pick, Kyron Gronick, out of Regina. So they signed their top three guys from last year.
Yeah,
So yeah, and whoever they pick up this year, I think Prince George could be, yes, like you said, building an army here. They've got some definite talent.
yeah,
That so that's good for them. They struggled over the last few years. They could use a boost out there.
for sure.
So, anything else you want to say about that, or
I don't know. I think just get excited, Pats fans. You're getting an elite talent here. Um, Craig Button did his little report on him there, and like he said, Bedard's hockey IQ is extremely high. Just the things he does on the ice, the way he sees the ice, the way he avoids like contact and doesn't make bad plays compared to kids his age. Um, I don't know, like guys, I think just it's going to be an exciting time. And the other note was that a few people have made was an elite level talent like that is going to be a good recruiting tool. So depending who else we get in the draft, I think we have 2 or 3 second round picks, and there's talks of like maybe some of the guys that we've drafted in the last 2 drafts now, 2 or 3 drafts, that maybe weren't going to come here now changing their mind if they see that an elite level talent like that's going to be playing here next year. So we
yeah,
could be in for a much better team next year.
yeah, that's a great point. He's a built-in recruiting tool. Exactly. That's a good point. For that, yeah, maybe some of these guys that were on the fence, you can tip them to the team this year,
Hmm.
and we could use the help definitely, right? So
Yeah. And how excited do you think Cole Dubinsky is?
yeah,
That's my guy right there. But yeah, he's gonna have another skilled guy there. Maybe show him some more moves and
yeah,
help him out on the ice a little bit.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I think we're all thinking maybe even a Gushin maybe would be a nice compliment because he's clearly got some high end talent.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know if he's committed anywhere or anything, but we'll see next year, I guess.
Yeah, and the NHL draft could play a big part in that, depending who drafts him. Could say, hey, maybe we want you to go to Regina instead of wherever he's thinking of going instead.
Yeah, totally. Teams do will do that if a guy's kind of on the fence on where he wants to play, and if they think it's in his best interest. So could be a possibility.
Yeah. So lost in kind of all that big news for the Pats. There was still one other thing that happened today. It was the U.S. draft, the inaugural U.S. draft. So that's, I mean, picking these U.S. kids is always a shot in the dark.
Yeah, kind of a
But
crapshoot.
yeah, but it sounds like Red Deer, with having the first overall pick, they were able to nail down their guy, Grayson Sawachin, I believe is how you pronounce it. But he's appeared in pictures with Rebels jerseys and everything on it, so looks like he's sold. But I guess
Yeah,
he. Go ahead.
did I think I read he's an Edmonton kid playing down in the U.S. Is that right?
Yeah, he's been in the states for 2 to 3 years. That's it. So
Yeah,
it's not Red Deer's not unfamiliar to him.
no.
So, but yeah. So then for the Pats, they picked up Mateo Michaels out of the Dallas Stars elite program. So it sounds like he's got some pretty good skill there.
Yeah, I was looking at his numbers before we came on, and he had he was a point a game player. It looked like he had was it 30 goals and 43 assists in 71 games or something like that.
Yeah, 73 points total in 61 games. It was, yeah.
Oh, 61 was it? Oh, okay. Yeah, so he's over a point a game. That's pretty. He sounds like he's a pretty elite player.
Yeah, and I tweeted out a few kind of highlight clips from his Twitter. So it looks like he's got some dangles and he likes to drive the play. It seems so. That'll
Yeah,
be
and sorry, go ahead.
yeah, that'll be nice to see again. Like we're saying, some high end talent. Maybe he's interested in coming up here with playing with some of these other guys.
Yeah, and I believe it was him that actually already tweeted about it. Um, I think it was his account. I just saw the pass retweet. One of the guys saying that they're pretty excited to be drafted by the Pats and grateful for the opportunity and whatever. So if that's the case, it sounds like a good sign, I would say.
Yeah, I believe that was him. Yeah, yeah. He said thanks to the Pats for an amazing opportunity. So see
Yeah,
what happens. It's too bad there's no spring camp this year, unfortunately, and because we could be seeing these guys in a short order. But I guess we'll have to wait till main camp this season.
yeah. If you thought it was going to be a long summer with a coronavirus going on, it's going to be even longer now, waiting for some of these guys to come up here and get a look at them. But it'll be all
Yeah,
worth it once we get there.
I think so, and hopefully it invigorates this fan base a bit. That'd be nice. I mean, the fan turnout hasn't been bad the last couple of years for what the team has been, but yeah, this is not gonna hurt it at all.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think we might start seeing some more sold out crowds here next 2 years, which will be good. Even just to come see some of the young guys, even if we're not winning like 40, 50 games a season to start, right? Is just to see some of the young talent that's going to be hanging around here now for the next couple of years is going to be exciting. So, like to see the
Exactly.
like to see the barn packed and everyone with their Pats gear on and cheering loud.
Exactly. So then in the second round, the Pats picked Brogan Young. He's out of Coeur d'Alene, um, playing in I don't even know what league it is, but tough to find some information on these American leagues. But he's a tall defenseman. They liked his size, they said, and uh, the local scout really recommended him. So Paddock didn't see him, but he did see Mateo Michaels at the Seattle tournament, that U.S.
U.S. prospects tournament or
Tur-
whatever.
yeah, that first one. So
Yeah,
maybe that's a good thing.
yeah. Well, and I'm sure he's probably had conversations with Mateo there, so that's probably one of the big things to help pick him in this draft. So, but yeah, you're right about some of these American kids. Hard to find stats on them where they're playing, and sometimes you can't even get up to the year stats on them. So
Yeah, but oh well, it is what it
trust
is.
trust the scouts, I guess. Eh?
Yeah, exactly. They've seen it. We're just looking at some numbers, right? So,
Exactly.
yeah. But this day and age, it's kind of weird that you can't find some stats on kids that are playing high level hockey.
Yeah, like in the Canadian kids, it's pretty easy to start finding stats on them at sometimes as young as 12, which is you might find strange, but that's just the way it is, I guess. They start building them up at a really young age now.
Yeah, they do, and I guess we're part of that as well, right?
That's true. Yeah, it's true.
So, but anyways, I guess before we wrap it up, the WHL officially canceled the playoffs in the Memorial Cup since our last episode. So I thought that we should touch on that, and it's disappointing. Obviously it had to happen, but to not watch any playoffs and no Memorial Cup, that's just too bad.
Yeah, and you feel kind of bad for the Rockets and their organizing committee out there. I read a tweet saying that their CHL is just going to go back to their normal rotation next year, so Kelowna is not going to get another shot to host it, at least not next year. And um, I'm going to assume they're not going to let them just have it the next time it's the WHL's turn. So especially if they can't promise they're going to field a good team, right? So who knows what's that's kind of up in the air, right? But so you kind of feel bad for those guys. They put a like they didn't. I don't think they went all in and broke the bank like the Pats and the Broncos and the Warriors did. There's a couple of years there, but they did give up some assets there to, or some like future assets to get some players now. So it's kind of, and all the hard work that the committee put in and all their volunteers and stuff for to get it together for this year, and it just kind of went goodbye.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, and yeah, like I said, it doesn't look like it's just going to move on to the Ontario League next year,
Mhm.
and then back to WHL in 23, I believe. So yeah, maybe they have the inside track for 23, but is what's the team going to be like? You know, so I mean that was
Yeah.
lots of questions this year with the team. Were they a quality Memorial Cup host or not? You know, it was definitely up for debate.
Yeah, for sure. But I guess we'll never know now.
Yeah, exactly. They kind of got let off the hook, maybe, possibly. You never know.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I think that's good enough for tonight. So, we should wrap it up here. Thanks again for coming on, filling in for the other Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. I always enjoy coming on.
Yeah, you're a veteran now. You've been on
Yeah,
twice.
exactly. Exactly.
Great. All right. Thanks a lot, Matt. Have a good night, guys.
See ya.